I mean, you're Freddie Mercury. You've got this.
Welcome to 2017. Now fuck us. Hello everybody, welcome to the Straight as a Pretzel, the manliest podcast this side of the ozone layer, where we discuss men, their perfect bodies, and beautiful smiles. No homo. As always, I am your host Chmis, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, my dear Jared.
Hello.
The gay agenda for this week is: what is bisexuality, how it differs from pansexuality, and the different kinds of labels, and as usual, and by usual I mean the second ever episode, we'll have another round of Fuck, Marry, Kill. You can find that and more with timestamps to individual topics and links where applicable in the episode description. So Jared, how are you? Or should we just move on because we are quite short on time?
No, I think we could take a couple of minutes just to warm up. I'm doing fine, Chemist. As you know, but as no one else knows, I just finished moving and got all of my stuff set back up. And this is the first thing that I've done since moving into my new house. So looking forward to it, testing out the new recording space. I actually have an office now instead of just being in the middle of my living room.
Nice. I'll have to send you a postcard.
Oh, thanks.
I'll just have to check how expensive is it.
Probably more than like $1. I think that's what it costs to send most postcards in the States. Like, you pay the $1 and you buy the postcard and send it.
In Poland, it's roughly the same. I'm expecting close. If it's under a 5, I'll think about it.
Okay.
Because otherwise, for $5, I can get a pretty good pizza.
Yeah. I'll have to send you my address. You can look it up on Google Maps at least.
I already have it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I gave it to you. You and Rage.
Yeah.
How are you doing this week, Chemist?
Pretty good, considering it's Tuesday, so I'm not completely dead yet, even though at work I have to deal with some pretty stupid stuff. Just legacy code that hasn't been used or worked in the past 5 years, and somehow I thought I could fix it. But fortunately, my pay doesn't really depend on it, so I don't care about it that much. At worst, I can say, nope, it's fucked. Speaking of which...
Yeah, so I was really happy that you wanted to tackle some of these topics, because as a therapist, I deal with some of this all the time, because I work with a lot of kids and teenagers who are exploring their sexualities for the first time. And the question, what's the difference between bisexuality and pansexuality, and then the sort of greater... status of labels comes up pretty frequently, actually. So we can just go ahead and get started if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I wanted to start with it because there are a lot of misconceptions, even amongst LGBT community. I mean, not even misconceptions, just there is lack of agreement between some definitions, and that can make it quite difficult. Because the whole purpose of labels is to make discussion easier, and if nobody can agree on the definition, then it makes it even harder. So maybe you, as a therapist, should start. What is the definition you use? What is the difference between those two?
Well, the difference between bisexuality and pansexuality: a bisexual is someone who finds men and women attractive, whereas a pansexual is someone who finds all people attractive. And you might be saying, well, that's the same thing, but not really, because, for example, some bisexuals that I have known or worked with don't like people who are transgender. To them, that feels a bit off-putting, like they can't place whether or not they are a man or a woman in their mind. So, and there's some other little small things here or there that might throw somebody off, like if someone identifies as being non-gendered, like an asexual person, or if someone feels that they're kind of a mix of both. Some bisexual people don't really go for that. So pansexual is basically just saying, look, I don't care if you're male or female, somewhere in between. If you're transgender or not or what, like, I don't care. If I find you attractive, I find you attractive, and nothing can turn me off. At least in the realms of like gender and sexuality related stuff. So that's kind of a very broad answer on what the difference is between the two from a clinical standpoint. And that's the definition that we work with here in the United States. If you are a member of the American Psychiatric Association or the American Association of Marriage and Family Therapists, which I'm a member of both. So that's the ethical standard by which we practice to define the two.
Okay, and the problem is that starting off, how can I phrase it correctly? The assumption that bisexual people are not attracted to transgender is the point that is often fought over, because that kind of suggests that trans women and trans men are not women and men. They don't fit exactly. And I have seen people being called out simply because they identify as bisexuals for being transphobic, which is weirdly, but again, it's the internet.
Yeah. I think people, by and large, just don't... I mean, there's no clear and accepted definition by the general public. This is kind of like whenever you have, I don't know, an old wives' tale or whatever that contradicts medical science, but like not everybody knows all the medical science, so they just go with whatever they've heard from, their mom or whatever. This is that sort of situation, I think. Not everybody is just fully educated on what these different terms mean. I mean, honestly, sometimes there are things that I hear and I'm like, what in the hell is that? What does that mean? And then I have to go and spend some time looking it up. Like, there was a swap or a change like in the last year from LGBT to LGBTQ. And I was like, what is the Q? And I mean, that just means queer, but it's like, okay.
I've also seen questioning.
Okay. I've never heard questioning.
Yeah, I've heard it a couple times. I prefer to go for queer because queer is more of a broad term that applies to pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
That would like to identify under this label. But I've seen extended it to pretty much the whole alphabet. I've seen some poster here in Poland that was trying to promote LGBT issues, and they used, I think, 12 different letters with no explanation what each one means. And I was trying to figure it out and was unable to.
That is interesting. I'd love to see all the different letters. I've seen a couple of extra letters beyond Q, but I've seen Z included. In case you don't know, the Z set of pronouns to describe people are supposed to be non-gendered. It's zir and zer. So I've seen that included as well. The people who don't want to identify as either gender.
Yeah, for pronouns, I prefer singular they. It's much more ingrained into the English itself, and without trying to create additional pronouns, which, at least for now, I think unnecessarily complicates the issue. Especially since if you just use they, most people won't even notice. Because this is sort of a extended standard form. But going back to the definition and the difference, the one I like to go for, and I've seen many people agree, is that bisexuality is attraction to people of any gender, while pansexuality is attraction to people regardless of the gender. And this is a very slight difference that you pretty much cannot observe from the outside, but still changes the actual experience and perception for the person themselves. Because by this definition, it means that bisexual people experience their attraction to people of different gender differently, while pansexuals almost don't notice the gender when it comes to just attraction.
That is a very slight difference, but it can be big too.
Yeah, it's very similar to what you mentioned, just slightly broader. And without this, bi equals 2, weirdness.
What I have to ask do you identify as bisexual or pansexual? Because I know that you're attracted to both.
I'm not quite sure. Usually say I'm bi because people are much more likely to understand it immediately without having to go into more discussion. It strikes the balance between briefness and precision. And even though as I'm getting older, I think I'm starting to lean towards the other side, I still use bi right now because, as I've already mentioned, labels are for easing the communication. Sure, you need labels a lot if there are enough people who have different experiences, then it guarantees the separate label for them. However, if you have too many labels, then it becomes unwieldy again, because there is not much difference between the label and just listing every single thing that it means, because again, people will not be familiar. So, just to reiterate, I think I still feel the difference between my attraction to men and women. I'm also attracted to androgynous people, but I still kind of perceive the difference between those. I'm not sure whether it will stay that way. And hopefully by then we have some better definitions.
Yeah, I definitely go straight to pansexual. No thought about it. Like, for me, attraction has very little to do with the physical component of the relationship, and that's in all regards. Looks and what dangly bits you have or don't have. I find all people can be attractive to me. And then the greater part of the relationship, which is what I think is more important for forming long-lasting relationships, is compatibility, personality, that sort of thing. So for me, I don't care. Male, female, androgynous, trans, cis, whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't care. I can find you attractive. And if I want to make a long-lasting relationship for you, I don't care about any of your physical features. Just your personality and your mental ones. But, I mean, I do have to explain to people all the time. Like, I'm pansexual. Oh, what is that? And I explain that. Oh, doesn't that sound like bisexual? Well, I mean, yeah, you can think of it that way, but here's the way I see it. And usually, in a couple of minutes, people are like, okay, that makes sense. But I also love to explain it to them, and that's kind of part of my job, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think your job means you should be more precise.
Yeah. Yeah, for ease of communication, I see what you're saying. Most people, probably all people, understand bisexual, whereas in comparison, I think very few understand pansexual. But yeah, for what I do, like working with these people and explaining it to them, it's to be more precise, to teach them more so that they can more fully understand and make their own decisions or feel their way through it, depending on exactly where they are, is more important than ease of communication. So, do you have anything else you want to add to that? Anywhere else you want to go? I feel like that was pretty straightforward, actually. You put in the notes that you fought with people about it, and I wasn't expecting a fight, but I was expecting a little more, I don't know, fire or something. Yeah, I mean, this is right in my wheelhouse, man. You are like, we are good. I deal with this stuff all the time. I'm there.
Yeah, basically, again, what I thought over was people, even in LGBT subreddit, is that bisexuality is somehow transphobic, but that's the internet for you. I'm pretty sure half of those people were trolls.
Probably. I mean, bisexuality isn't transphobic. It just has the chance or the possibility where that you could exclude trans people from who you find attractive, and I don't think that's a phobic thing. I mean, if you are, if you're going out and being like, I hate trans people, they are stupid and they are less than human or whatever, then yeah, you're being transphobic. But if it's like, nah, I don't really find that, like, that doesn't really turn me on, well, that's cool. That's fine. You do you. Some people are turned on by skinny people. Some people are turned on by fat people. Some people like beards. Some people don't. That doesn't make me beard phobic or not beard phobic. It's just things that are more or less attractive, so.
Okay, that was shorter than I expected, so shall we move on to Fuck, marry, kill.
Indeed, we shall. So, in honor of this week, I'm assuming this is why you went this way. You decided to pick bisexual people for your list, and I did as well. Your list is first on the topic sheet, so you can go first.
Okay, so my 3 people is Angelina Jolie, Lady Gaga, and Shannon Purser, who played Barbara in Stranger Things. Yeah, so Angelina Jolie, this is interesting because I have a vague memory of reading some... I'm not sure what it even was. A short biography or an interview, and I remember that context of Angelina Jolie was the first time I've ever heard the term bisexuality, and somehow I forgot about it for 4 or 5 years. Because for 4 or 5 years... Oh, we'll talk about it maybe some other episode, but yeah. I just didn't know it existed. And then Lady Gaga and Shannon Purser, I've decided to throw in from some list because of all the long list of bi people I could find, there weren't that many I actually knew because I don't follow news or celebrity gossip or anything.
I'm in the same boat on that one.
Looking at your list, I'm pretty sure you use the exact same website.
Probably.
I would probably marry Shannon Purser, mostly because we're roughly the same age.
Okay.
And I'm that shallow that I don't want my husband or wife die immediately. Unless they're really, really rich.
I mean, all 3 of these are pretty rich people. Shannon Purser actually is probably the least rich of them because she's the newest to celebrity, or the newest.
Yeah, and I'm not a materialist.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, in this particular instance of 3 people.
This one time, I'm not a materialist. So you're gonna marry Shannon.
I think I would fuck Angelina Jolie just so I can say I fucked Angelina Jolie and make Brad jealous. Are they still together, actually?
I don't know. Let me see.
No, don't Google it. That's too try hard.
Oh, I've got her Wikipedia page open already. I was looking at some stuff because I'm gonna talk about Angelina Jolie for a second when it's my turn to go through your list.
Yeah, and that just leaves killing off Lady Gaga for no particular reason other that I don't find her worthy pick for other 2 categories.
All right. My take on your list is reverse of yours. I'm gonna kill Lady Gaga. I don't find her very attractive. I'm not the biggest fan of her music. It's not terrible, but I'm not the biggest fan. And I just find her obnoxious. The best work that she does is honestly whenever she's not doing one of her shows and she's just doing the occasional sort of solo performance where that she plays piano and sings her songs. She's an amazing pianist and has a wonderful voice when she just sings like, I don't know, normal person, not like Lady Gaga.
Not in her persona.
Yeah, not in her persona. When she just sings and plays, she's amazing. But her persona is, I don't know. It's just not for me.
I find it interesting that in this day and age, we have so many people with this huge discrepancy between how they actually are and the persona they play.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm always just me on all the shows and everything that I do. I'm always just me. That makes it easy. Anyway, so yeah, I would kill Lady Gaga. I would fuck Shannon Purser. I've only seen a couple episodes of Stranger Things, so I only barely know who she is. And I've had a huge crush on Angelina Jolie for forever. When I was a kid, and we got the internet for the first time, after I saw Angelina Jolie, like, I was all the time, like, trying to find her naked on the internet. Back in the dial-up days. Like, I've had a crush on her for forever. So, I would have to marry Angelina Jolie. Like, she's one of the few female, like, celebrities that I have a crush on. Like, I tend to go more male crushes on celebrities, but she's one of the few women, so. Also, on her, I looked on her Wikipedia page. She and Brad divorced towards the end of last year, so she's available.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, there's a chance. Somewhere, there's a snowball in hell, and that's my chance.
You can be her rebound. after the one night stand with me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and I've just looked. Somehow I missed this Shannon Purser. I just assumed we were roughly the same age. She's actually younger than me.
How old is she?
She was born in 97.
Oh, wow. Jeez, that's 20. She's only 20.
I just assumed she's in her mid-20s.
Nope, she is exactly 20. That's crazy. She probably has made more money at this point in her life than I ever will make. Oh, that makes me kind of sad a little bit. Okay, my list: Kesha, Freddie Mercury, and Gillian Anderson. She was most well known as Scully from the X-Files. Gillian Anderson still looks real good. I saw her on Top Gear, I think it was last year, when the last season that Jeremy and Richard and James were the presenters. And she still looks real good. Like, I didn't know who Gillian Anderson was at first. Like, I didn't recognize her name, and she walked on. I was like, oh, hey, that's Scully. And then, they're talking like, yeah, you're most well known as Scully from X-Files. So she's still doing good. Freddie Mercury, there's no rule that says we can't pick dead people. So Freddie Mercury has to go on the list. If we could, like, resurrect him or get, like, zombie Freddie or something. And then Kesha. So this is tough. I'm between marrying Freddie Mercury and Gillian Anderson. Like, just because, like, all of the roleplay stuff we could do is her as Scully and me as Mulder. That would be so much fun. And we could base a wonderful life and relationship around that. Although I would have to, like, reverse roles because I'm, like, super skeptical. And I'd have to be the one that was like, no, I believe. They're out there. So that would be tough. I'm kind of, like, talking myself into and out of this one at the same time. Freddie Mercury. Man, a chance to bring him back from the dead. Although I've seen a couple of biographies about him, and he was not the best person to be in a relationship with. He was very manic, which would make him tough to be with. Kesha, great singer. I think she's very attractive. But honestly, she's got the least to bring to the table in this one, so I'm going to have to kill Kesha. I'm sorry, girl. I do like your songs, though, better than Lady Gaga's, so you got that going for you. I think I'd have to marry Gillian Anderson. Like, the thought of role playing Scully and Mulder is just too great. And we could do that once as part of a one night stand, but I want to have a lifetime of that. So I'd marry Gillian Anderson and then fuck Ghost Freddie Mercury or Zombie Freddie Mercury or whatever. Because, it's Freddie Mercury, right? You got to.
Yeah, so I would agree pretty much with this list. You cannot miss an opportunity to fuck Freddie Mercury. Also, I really like this mental image that Freddie Mercury wakes up and all they see is two guys saying, "Welcome to 2017, now fuck us."
Yeah, that's great. Let's fuck. Let's get it on. You have to sing as well while we do it. I know you've been in the ground for a couple of decades, but you're Freddie Mercury. You've got this. Let's go.
Yeah, I would probably marry... Is it Gillian or Gillian?
Gillian.
Yeah, Gillian Anderson. I've actually didn't watch The X-Files, but I have watched... Yesterday I have watched American Gods, where she appears as one of the characters. And I've only now noticed because if you Google her, that's one of the news topics that comes in.
I haven't seen American Gods. I've read the book. Good book. I'll have to watch that just for her now.
I'm not yet sure how big of a role she plays, but I'm pretty sure she will appear more than once. And I have not read the books. And since I have started the TV series, I don't want to spoil the series for myself now, but I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it. It's been a while since I read the books. I read them in college. I might not have read all of them, because how many books are there? There's a few, I think.
Yeah, and again, that leaves off killing Kesha. I don't really listen to music, and from what I remember from the songs I know that were hers, I don't find them anything special. I'm sorry, maybe on another list she would survive, but the competition is just way too good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't listen to music very much. We should have an off-topic episode where we talk about music or something, or have a music podcast. God, I should just stop. I don't have all the time in the world. I'm not a professional podcaster, but I'd love to talk at least for a little bit about music. Because I'm with you. I don't listen to very much music. I'm mostly a podcaster and audiobooks guy.
Defined very much.
Every once in a while, like, I don't know, every month or so, or if I've had like a really, really bad day, I'll listen to music. I don't, like, when I get in the car, podcast or audiobook. When I'm playing games and I want something in the background, podcast or audiobook. When I record, I usually, like, whenever Rage and I record, he usually has music in the background. I usually don't. Sometimes I do, but usually not. I would say I listen to less than 12 hours of music a year.
Not counting video game music.
Yeah, I didn't count that.
And couple songs that I'm just emotionally attached to. I haven't really listened to music in 5 or 6 years. Of course, if I'm somewhere and the music plays, I will not walk out. But out of my own volition, I haven't really listened to music in 5 or 6 years, ever since I have discovered podcasts. Right now, I am a literal podcast addict. I listen to more than 40 hours a week.
I do too.
I have my stats pulled up right now, today and yesterday, because I were at work. I listened to 10 hours both days, and that is kinda on the low side.
That is pretty good. That's more than I get to listen to. I get to listen to about 4 or 5 hours a day because of my job. I spend a lot more time in the car than I used to because I do in-home therapy.
Because your job is to deal with people.
Yeah. Actually, it's probably 3 to 4 hours a day. 4 to 5 is a little high. So between that and then listening at home, and I'm constantly behind. My podcast playlist grows continually faster than I can whittle it down.
Well, I explicitly manage just manually my playlist, so it's never longer than 10 hours. But I have 960 episodes in my backlog.
That is pretty good.
And it was over 1,000 just 3 days ago. I've just went through a bunch of short ones. And around this time I will start looking for new feeds. Because I only have 960 episodes left. What if I run out?
Yeah. Let's see. My podcast feed has something in the neighborhood. 67 hours, 32 minutes.
Filthy casual.
Yeah, I'm also a podcast addict. But podcasts are so good. They're so much better than music. They're better than audiobooks. Sometimes I need a break, and so I'll listen to an audiobook, but podcasts are so good.
We should totally have a podcast.
We could. Well, I think that about wraps us up for this episode. So you can shoot us an email at straightpretzel@gmail.com or send a tweet to @straightpretzel. All of this plus more can be found at straightpretzel.wordpress.com.
Our intro music is Disco Medusae by Kevin MacLeod. Find more at incompetech.com.
Remember, if your would go gay for list is longer than 5 people, you ain't straight, but you're in great company. Stay fabulous.